All right, we are live on TikTok. We are live on Rumble, live on Facebook, and live on YouTube. Happy New Year to all my Drangiers and Shield Maidens out there. Um, wanted to start this new year off with a positive note. We do have some big things in the works. Not just myself and my personal life. I'm not going to talk about that, but I've got wrestling stuff, big wrestling stuff coming up. So, like that to me is what's truly inspiring, and I can't wait to see where these are going to take me. First and foremost, I've got some matches coming up. Um, I've got two scheduled in January. I've got a couple scheduled in February. So, definitely going to be talking about these matches, the new promotion that I'm going to be running with. I want to start this year off, on my feet, run with my boots on, kicking ass and taking names. So I'm glad everybody's on the journey with me. So I'm glad everybody's here to come along with the ride. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. First of the new year. So we're going to start this one off big, and I let's for me, the emotions that usually take over for the holidays, I'm usually in a bad spot, and this year, today, I'm not. So I want everybody to try and put their best foot forward this year. This year is going to be good for all of us. We've all been stagnant. We've all been taken aback. We've all been, we've all had our problems this last year. So let's move forward into 2026, and let's build that momentum. Let's build that steam. 2025 was about growing roots and stability, even if we didn't see growth. Man, that's looking back, I can see the roots that have taken hold, and it's weird because I didn't see the growth. I didn't see anything, just like I was talking about. But when you look at it that way and look at all the lives you've touched, all the things you've done, all the accomplishments, all the obstacles that had to be overcome, 2025 was a learning and root growing year to help 2026. We've already got the stability now, and now we're going to run with it. Like I said, oh man, this year. I have high hopes. I have high hopes for everybody, and I want to help everybody as much as I can. Today I'm not wearing a silver lining shirt. I'm not wearing that, but I usually like wearing that on my podcast days just because it helps. I am wearing my bracelet, but this is my buddy, Coach the Ironclad. He's the guy I dumped out of his walker before a match, excuse me, and he was on the show, so he's okay. He's threatened to beat me up multiple times since then, so we're good. But we're doing things that are raising awareness, raising vibrations and stuff like that. So let's keep up with it. This is my buddy, so this shirt makes me feel good wearing it. It's all about simple things. I'm finding out hydration is even more important when you're on growths and journeys and things like that. So I'm trying to drink more water. we're not calling these New Year's resolutions. We're just calling these uh, actions we're taking, steps we're taking. So, you know, we can all take these steps. Drinking more water is not bad for anybody. Too much water is bad, but as long as you drink filtered water, I don't want to say bottled water because that's adding the plastics and stuff like that. But if you've got filtered water or can get filtered water, we need to drink. I've ordered a hydrogen flask. It's not shown up yet, but you know, that's what we need to be doing. So, I'm trying to up my water intake. So, uh, another thing I I plan to do, um, just more, be more mindful of everything. I try to do what I can where I can, um, but I need to be more aware, you know, more aware of my situations, more aware of who's watching. Um, Someone's always watching, someone's always listening. So I want to be more situational aware. Jax, my man. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, bud. I heard you had a good Christmas. I heard you had a good New Year's. I heard you went swimming. You crazy kid. Like, man, now I did go hot tubbing in Denver while it was snowing. That was fun. But my beard and my hair froze. Yes, I had hair at the time. I had a long ponytail. If you can imagine before all this, it's like this. I had this. So um, when it froze and the beard froze, I knew I needed to get back underwater and got back in the hot tub. So that's that's the last time I went swimming in the wintertime, but you're it is Viking like, yes, yes. But like I told somebody else, I'm a tropical Viking. I'm a really bad Viking. I need it warm. Like even today, I've been shivering, and if I wasn't shivering, I was next to the heater. Like as soon as I came home, I cranked up my heater, and I've got a small mini fan blowing right on it to move the air through it. So I I got real warm real quick. I had it on most of the day. I'm definitely going to turn it on here in a little bit after the podcast. I didn't want to get too hot, but that's going swimming. No, no, not doing it. I do remember I went to Denver as a kid, and it was April, might have been May, could have been the 1st of June. I'm not too sure. Uh, we jumped in the pool and it was ice cold, so we jumped right back out. Apparently, it had snowed days before, and it was not a time for swimming. Living in Denver was crazy. Snow could come down at any point. It's beautiful, but I didn't like getting snowed in. Didn't like It's a lot of snow. So anyway, you're not catching me swimming. That is not on my New Year's bucket list. Um, but I do have a match on the 17th and the 24th. Um, one in Marshall, one in Silsbee. I'll be posting flyers and information about both of those shows, here coming up soon. Um, I try not to blast my Facebook page and stuff too early. That way, it gets repeated or something like that. I try to, you know, I do try to make it worth engaging, worth engagement. You know, um, I am learning how to do a lot of this stuff. I wish I knew how to do duets on TikTok. I wish I had to knew how to do more stuff on that, but I'm slowly learning. I'm just like I'm learning how to do all this. What's up, Kevin? What's up? Happy New Year. It's fine to learn, and I just hope it's becoming worth watching, worth doing. I'm certainly enjoying talking to everybody, reaching out to everybody. Even my 15-20 minutes that I sometimes do when I'm in pain or not feeling well. Like even tonight and today, I woke up and my throat was not doing well. I ended up drinking a big old cup of hot cider. I'm not a hot chocolate fan, but I am a hot tea fan. My mother used to make this. I'm gonna give this recipe away, but no, um, she used to make this for me when I was sick because I didn't like hot chocolate, but it was equal parts Tang and instant tea with lemon, and she would mix that up and then add a bunch of cinnamon to it. Um, it's a lot of times I was getting sick and not able to keep anything down. So these were comforting the throat. I was at least getting some vitamin C's and stuff like that when I could. It would help when my throat was completely closed. I know I've had strep so many times, mono once. Uh, just I've it seemed like every Christmas I was going through something. So um, this was the drink. This was the go-to. So I yes, it is. It's a lot like wassail or a hot cider, but this was just this. You grow up on this, so that kind of um, leads to all my proclivities that I like now. I still like my hot teas and my fruits and things like that. So this was a mixture of both. So I I need to make my own blend of teas. I've thought about getting, I don't really know what you want to call it, but the best I can describe it is an apothecary and have a bunch of dried herbs and things like that to make teas. I'm watching somebody on TikTok, the modern day Floki. He's got some tea blends that I want to try. Just simple 4 and 5 ingredients that you can buy in bulk, and most of these are actually in teas that you find off the store. So being able to find it from source is always better. Um, I've got most of the tools to make it. I've got an electric kettle and stuff like that. What I would want is a French press. Um, it sounds odd because I'm so anti coffee, but um, you know, or a straining mug. I used to have one of those. So the straining mugs are awesome because you can basically um, in the little container you make your tea. You put everything in there. You put your loose leaf tea, you put your sugar, everything, and as soon you let it sit. As soon as it's done steeping, you put it over your cup, and it sits on the cup and strains right into your cup. So you can also add your sugar in that, so you're not clogging anything. But I always choose the rock sugar that I got. So, like I said, I'm very very particular about my teas. I used to have an awesome. Uh, oh, that was a nice pop. I used to have an awesome tea kettle, but through separation, I left that with her. Um, so I got myself an electric tea kettle, and that's to me, being able to plug it in, turn it on, and it boils water in it's like 3 minutes. Like that's incredible to me. And right back to my cup of tea. So I am gonna start drinking more hot teas. This last cup basically showed me like, no, we're we're gonna need to get back into some hot teas. When I can, I'm gonna bring some to work, and we're gonna drink some at work because that's always nice to start your morning off with a warm beverage, especially when it's 20s. It warmed up. It warmed up to 70, 80 degrees, but man, it's still when it starts off in the 20s, it's hard to get out of bed. Especially to go work outside. Shouldn't complain. Shouldn't complain. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thankful for the opportunity to wrestle. Thankful for the opportunity to sell merchandise. So along with that, like I've said, we're gonna be doing two more beard oils, and the next one coming out will be Long Ship. The last one, I forget. I think we were going with like Hunting Party, but I don't. We may change that. The Long Ship is the next one coming out. We may or may not do a beard wash in between there. Um, as I to show you how much I get on, I never get on, but as soon as I can, I will get on and add you, bud. I don't play much. The last game I got was No Man's Sky. Um, so if you like space and space and Legos, that's all that is. Yeah, I wish I could have made that practice today. Like I've said, if I could be closer to you guys, I definitely would have. But you know, no. Speaking of Adam Morgan, he he put out a video. He put out a video making fun of me and Iron Belly. So we may have to. Why do you make us hurt you? Like we're nice guys, but when you make fun of us online, it makes us want to hurt you. And we're coming on the 24th for you. I don't want to get I don't want to get restricted on TikTok. So I know if I do too much, I get in trouble. So I'm trying to be a good boy. So um, Adam, that was very not nice, and we will address that shortly. Is that TikTok friendly enough? Are we still okay with the ratings? Adam Morgan, the psycho, uh, and his drunken alehouse brother, alehouse tragedy. There's going to be a tragedy when the sons of plunder outdrink you. He is jealous of our beards. I can tell you that. That's why he grew out his beard, just so he could be like me. So but it still makes me laugh. His kid, why are you bald? I got hair on the sides. What are you talking about? He didn't buy it. Kid didn't buy it. So we're trying new things. We are trying to go professional on Facebook. I know that's got a couple of updates. Um, I'm not sure how the TikTok is working, but we're trying that professional mode as well. What is really cool is it gives these little updates and achievements and things like that. So you know, always like always like earning merit badges in Boy Scouts. So like leveling up and earning achievements in video games. So that's kind of what this is. So we're trying that. I'll let you know how it goes. um Now the monetization is kind of cool. um so far it's not me solo. I'm not doing it on TikTok, but that is joining the uh TWPF, the Triumph Wrestling Promo Federation, and that's cutting wrestling promos where I do my practice. So I am getting monetized on TikTok through that, but I'd like to pull it to my side, but it's coming. You know, we've already seen monetization on Rumble, 2 cents. I've gotten I think $1.40 from TikTok. So I mean it's at no means, at no point am I quitting my day job for this, but I am thankful for the the money that has been sent. I didn't start any of this for that. Um, I, I I don't know if I should be posting my cash apps and things like that for donations and things. I know I can set up a Patreon. I can set up subscriptions on Rumble and YouTube and things like that. I don't know how you know I don't know if anybody's that dedicated. I'm not asking anybody to be that dedicated. Um, I know I would use any money that gets donated or tipped towards the show to make it better, better lighting, better, you know, better location. um, just making the show better. If I upgrade my membership on StreamYard, I can broadcast to more uh, platforms, up to 8, I believe. Right now, I'm doing a rough 4, so I could streamline it and make everything easier on me, but you know, um, we will see how that goes. Basically, I've got to double my payments to StreamYard. Um, you know, might make things easier, but it's more expensive, and I don't like spending money. I don't like spending money. I don't like it. So, um, let's see what else is in store. What else is in store? I did see there's the advertisement was for they said Duolingo for runes. So I want to get into that, learn runes better. That way I can write in runic and do a little more stuff. Another just another knowledge merit badge, you know. Um, Certainly not applicable for anything other than the wrestling or whatnot. But I talked about getting a 3D printer. That would add to that. I could start adding different runes and bind runes and things like that to my 3D printing, just to make a little flair on it. So, perfect segue, I guess. The first thing I plan on doing when I get a 3D printer is, well, not first thing, I'll have to test it out on a little bit, but I'm gonna 3D print myself a Viking helmet. I plan on doing one like Skyrim, not like the typical, this is not a Viking helmet. They didn't wear horns like that. So, now the Skyrim one, I am wanting. It does have one horn, and then it's broken on this side, but they're kind of pointed down, and to me, that's more it. But whatever I do, I want it to fit around the wolf mask. Might even have it all in one, to where it's a wolf mask and a, with horns, that might be, that may take a little bit of work, but it's all plastic. So I can just glue it together, glue it and paint it. It's all the same. So, working on that helmet though, you're exactly, I do want to add more stuff to my, I don't want to say costume, but that's the best I can say. I just don't know what to do. I want to add EVA foam and add little armor bits and make it look like I've, a little more armored up, but that's a different skill that I'm talking about. The 3D printing is just finding the stuff and just kind of click. The computer does it all. No, the EVA foam I'd have to bend and cut and mold and glue, all that stuff. I've always wanted a pauldron, and that's just to add with the shield wall. This arm is for the hammer, so it's got to be as free as it can be, but this arm is the shield. So always thought the pauldron was there. My buddy gave me the God of War shoulder pauldron. It's a little large for me, but I do wear it, but it was made for the right shoulder, so it is a little awkward to put it on the left shoulder. But the shield is maybe a pound, less than 2 pounds. It was cut from a sheet of plywood. I think it's 1/2 inch, maybe 1/4 inch, not too sure. Just a sheet of plywood that got cut down to 36 inches. Nope, it's 24 inches. It was cut to 24 inches. I didn't get the 36-inch shield. I didn't know if my arm could carry that after I tore my bicep and everything, but I chose the smaller option. I think that it works fine. So 24-inch shields, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, not very much. So, go look in the desert, get some real animal horns. Yeah. I would definitely go go to the desert, go walking, find some bones, find some horns. Um, the the bones I want aren't actually big enough to use where I want them. Um, some of them aren't really legal to own, so I'm not trying to get real bones. Um, but I, I always wanted a bear skull mask, but that can change into a giant wolf. I've got the face, but I would like a little more, maybe even a wolf pelt. It may be some other animal, but you know, um, that's kind of what I'm looking for is something to you know make more of a headdress. You know, so um, so the hammer started out 9 pounds, and that was with the stick that was on it that was about that big. Um, I broke that. Um, Replaced it with the full dowel rod. I don't think that changed much, so maybe 10 pounds now with the full hammer handle, but that's pretty much it. So, um, I everyone's shocked at the hammer that it's actually real and heavy. The kids love picking it up. Oh, it's not that heavy, right? But they're not swinging it around as often as I'm portraying it. So, um, it's more for our Sons of Plunder entrance, but it's more for you know camera photo ops, like having the kids hold the hammer, during a show, after a show, having the kids hold my shield. All the kids dig that. It makes it feel like they're also a part of something, and that's why I do this. Is why I've been wrestling. You know, I do what I can for the kids. um, and I did end up making Jax a giant hammer. I've I don't know how much that one weighed. That one, ooh, that was not really that was not really it was not one I used much. Used it for a show, a hammer on a pole match with Rika Wildly, and unfortunately, I lost, but was able to get that hammer back because he just didn't want to take it back home with him. He said it was too heavy, so he let me have it again. We'll go with that. That sounds good. Yeah, especially with Iron Belly and I. Um, it's the attention grabber. When I hit it in Beaumont, I know they said that they thought it was shots fired. That it was very loud, and security came and checked us out. But that's it. If you're not paying attention to my entrance, you are now. I just got your attention, and now you're gonna give me a chance to you're gonna give me a chance to see what I got for a couple of seconds. I know we're gonna definitely capture your your entrance. So it's what we do. It's what Iron Belly and I are known for from curtain to curtain. I plan on adding a certain move sequence into my wrestling that I think can make me um, known. I'm not trying to be famous, but nobody's doing this move, so I'm going to do it. Or they're doing it in this sequence. So I have a name for it. You know, I'm not going to reveal that right now, but I'll bust it out when I do it. So, um, we when we started Sons of Plunder, when I created Sons of Plunder, I let it known that this was not kind of, it's definitely not a faction that we're going to break up and we're going to feud in a year or so. Um, if you want us to wrestle against each other continuously, you might as well just stop booking us because we're not. That's not our story. So if you want us to wrestle, it's a round robin type situation. 16 guys, and that's just the tournament bracket. We can do it. I don't know. I don't know how well it works. We have talked about this, how we'd make it work. Certain certain groups just don't work separate. I don't think we could wrestle each other. We're it'd be the exact same, nearly the exact same. Not saying one of us or either of us is better. It's just it'd be the exact same moves. Nobody, I would do it to him, he would do it to me. I would do something to him, he'd do something to me. It would be one for one, one for one, one for one, until one of us, bleeds or, he gets taken out. It's usually me bleeding. So, it's just one of those things. We'll do it, but that was never really our goal. Hammer versus hammer, and that's oh, you wanna ding, hammer versus hammer. I see. That I'm afraid that's when you get the immovable object meeting an unstoppable force. Like, what do you think happens? That's when worlds collide. That's when worlds end. Like, we could be very well witnessing a nuclear explosion right in just a minuscule, and we could create a black hole that envelops the whole room, and you don't that couldn't be on us. Like, we couldn't be the guys that destroyed the room just because of our sheer awesomeness. So we have to put our awesomeness on hold just so it doesn't destroy the world. So we're you should really be thanking us. I can't. I can't. uh, so um I've not met Athena, but yes. Well, you've got Rika twice, but I think what you're talking about is the family versus sons, and that's kind of the goal. Um, Somebody was creating the family affiliate to kind of help push this idea, someone to rival. So we're definitely going to go with that. So Sons of Plunder versus the family. Um, we will be doing business very soon. So not sure if that's going to be in a particular promotion that may be a later card with Exist to Inspire Wrestling. Um, but that is the ultimate goal, to wrestle with them. And yes, sir. That's exactly what the plan is. So you got a good brain for this too. So you know what we're doing. Just a little bit. So man, still so thirsty. It's funny. When I was mowing yards with a landscaping buddy of mine, they used to joke around with all the crew, you know, how many water bottles you drank, but they knew I had to I had to drink continuous water. So they knew I would change my shirts every couple of yards because one of them was always hanging up to dry. One of them was getting soaked. So they would ask me how many times I've changed my shirt. 3 times. So they knew I was on, my fourth, fifth shirt. So yeah, I kind of figured you meant the family. So that's coming. Somebody should be booking that very soon, whether it's all of the family or just a couple people. But yes, the definitely want to wrestle the family. So I don't think I've wrestled Rika anywhere outside of WWA. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The hammer on the pole match. That was it. To be honest, I was looking forward to doing more with him, but I didn't really know what was expected for that match, and I guess the turnout wasn't what they were hoping for. So, I'm taking that on me. I hammer on a pole, anything on a pole, it's usually the first, as soon as somebody grabs it, they get it. But they wanted somebody to use the hammer. Problem is, is once you use it, like you are ending a wrestler for a little bit. There has to be an injury. You know, I got hit with the hammer. They tied my arm up. This is Christopher Hayden tied my arm up and smashed it with the hammer, and I had to fight to get it back. But I was in a cast for a couple of months. Was put back into my cast from when I tore my bicep. That's what really sucked. It brought a lot of memories back, but I didn't have to wear it for 6 months, just a little bit of time. But even that amount of time was enough to bring it right back to the top of my and it was rough, but I'm glad to be out of that cast. My arm, it's still, I don't know, it's healed up, but it's still, I still have problems. And what's funny is I've noticed with my tattoo, I've noticed the problems I have are primarily where the guy sits. So I noticed my guy gets cold, so I need to I need to cover up my warrior, and can't let him get too cold. So just thought that was fun. But yeah, I'm wrestling Eli Daniels on the 17th in Marshall. That will be the Point Break show or something like that. They haven't really come up with a theme yet, but that's where I'll be on the 17th. On the 24th, I will be in Silsby. The Sons of Plunder will be in Silsby, defending our tag team titles. We're going down to Silsby with gold. We're leaving Silsby with gold, so we can just call that right now. I did lose my digital media championship in Marshall last month, so I've gotta get back into that race. But it took 2 people to beat me. I got attacked from another wrestler while waiting for my opponent, so it wasn't a clean victory. And most of my losses from championships have been in multi-man matches where no one pinned me or beat me, but somebody else pinned somebody else, which caused them to be a victor, or some other situation. Somebody else stepped in from out of nowhere. So I will say most of my losses are from multiple people and not just one on one. So, you know, it takes more than one person to beat me as a champ. So uh, that makes me feel good. um, yeah, I need to. Oh man, I need to start working out more. I hit the scale the other day and it was 203. Not that that's bad, but I've been under 200 for a long time. And, I always joke this is my winter weight. Thanksgiving and Christmas are the worst. I'm always eating, but I didn't eat that much, but I have put on the weight, haven't been able to shake it. So, need to start working out again, work up my core again. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start making better steps for that. I know I don't have much sugar. I'm not drinking sodas. I need to drink more water, which will help everything else. But need to eat better foods, um, less processed, more clean, healthy cooking. It's what we all should be doing, cooking at home, simple meals, meat, vegetable, some kind of starch. Doesn't have to be much, doesn't have to be a lot, but oh. So the last thing, yeah, the last thing I want to touch back on is I started with the the frequencies and the vibrations, and that's kind of usually what it was: triple threat and four 8-man tags. So it wasn't so much Sons of Plunder that got pinned, but somebody else pinned, which caused them to win, or they were the first ones to get the titles that were hanging up. Um, just certain things. Sons of Plunder never lost. We just didn't get the victory, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is making sure that everybody is just doing what they can to help out, positive vibes, positive feelings. Went through Boy Scouts and Eagle Scout, so I'm always trying to be helpful, but I want to I want to be more helpful. I'm going to make it a point to get with some of these guys down south and train them. They don't need much training, but any training they can get is better. I'm not saying I'm great. I'm just saying everybody can learn. Everybody can figure out a different way of doing things. Everybody can be taught. Everybody can learn. They have certainly taught me certain things. So it's a handshake. So I want to be there for them as they are there for me, and you know give it back, pay it forward, and that's where I'm going with this year. I started off kind of feeling bad. I had headaches this last week, but kind of noticed I wasn't drinking my water, so I've gotten back on the water. Trying to just I'm trying. Not perfect by any means, but I am certainly trying. So we're learning how to do all this, taking it step by step, day by day. We're knocking off these achievements for the professional stuffs. knocking it off for TikTok, knocking it off for Facebook, doing all that stuff. So I I honestly didn't even think I'd be talking for an hour, but kind of watching the clock here and there, and it's kind of jumped tremendously, and it's been easier than I thought. I never thought I would be putting out more than 15, 20 minutes because I don't want to monopolize anybody's time. I don't want to take you away from anything, but I'm also I think I'm kind of easy to listen to. I'm not requiring too much energy. You can be, listen to me in the headphones and doing a task or something else. Um, it's more about you clicked on my podcast, however you did, it's because of the vibes. I've talked to people and, before any misunderstanding could happen, they were like, no, 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 I already understand what you were saying before I got it. And I was like, okay, perfect. I'm not trying to go into this with a bad intention. It's already, you know, felt before, what it's a quote from a movie that I love. Um, the character of, your character will be received even before you are. So, um, that's it. Ah, this is a great question. This is a great question because everybody wants the Vikings to be a big scary guy. Everybody wants the Vikings to be the heels. We can be heels. I always went into it wanting to be a face. Every time I play a video game, I go extreme good. That's usually the first round of games that I play. Then I learn where all the things are, and then I go extreme evil just to see exactly how far this game allows. Can I kick a puppy? Can I, push cats? Whatever it is, the game allows it. Fable was Fable was a really fun game because it showed you the uh, consequences of your actions. Your character changed, good or bad. So that this is why extreme good and extreme evil. The Jedi's, I would do the same thing. I would be a Jedi, being an extreme good Jedi. I would be an extreme Sith. The last game is usually extremely neutral. Try not to be the gray Jedi. That is the hardest way to play the game. So I always wanted to be a face. My character kind of dictates that I'm the heel. Um, we go with this. Can you remember a time when Undertaker was face or heel? I stick by no. He's been the Undertaker the entire time. Yeah, his gimmick was evil, but just a solid gimmick. I kind of go with the same thing Stone Cold. Stone Cold wasn't face or heel. He was just Stone Cold. He fought everybody. Cult. Cult favorite. That's what I tell people with. That's what I leave people with because when we walk out and you see both of us together, add Viking Queen, and her ambiance, we're making her into a badass witch. Everything adds to the real and wow, those guys, they know what they're doing because they look it, and that's it. Um, you know, then the hammer strike when we get in, and everybody's it we are either we have been we've been in heel versus heel match where we're the healer of the two. We've been in where we're the faces of the heels. But I it doesn't matter. We get cheers, so we are fan favorites everywhere we go. Uh, we are faces to y'all. I never know how to respond outside of the ring. Do I continue the Norse, I don't talk, the Viking for the kids, or do I break down and let them, talk to them normal? So I I always leave the Warhammer for in the ring, but I am the wrestler portraying Warhammer outside the ring, and that's what allows the face. I think we're attention grabbers. Everybody wants to see the hammers, hold the shield, especially if it's outside. Because if somebody sees the shield outside, the sun hits it, and you know that it's done really well. It's done by hand, so you know. We are the best tag team ever, even better than family affiliated. We certainly try. Um, I've got a lot of tag team heroes, people that I look up to in my wrestling life, um, in real life and from the TV. So I've got a lot of inspiration for that. So that's really what leads to the Sons of Plunder working so well. Like I've said before, he he was originally going to quit. He was talking about quitting for uh, several months before I had messaged him, and just he said having me come out and understanding his gimmick, but clicking, just falling into place. It was you're me. I'm we you are the same. We can do this together and be even bigger. And everybody has got it. Everybody, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We when we go together, everybody is oh man, Sons of Plunder. It's we work together. It clicks. So the family is very close. Now you I was trying to do more of a family group, in Sons of Plunder, but I've got to I've got to look outside of my hometown. Um, I did talk to another wrestler, female wrestler. Oh my goodness, she is Sons of Plunder material all the way. Um, I don't even want to mention her name, but I don't want to mess it up. But she's going by the Wolf Eye, and I'll get that information. But found her on TikTok and just told her I dig the look, just like I did Iron Belly. And from there, she kind of responded. She's like, "Who do you work for?" And I told her, and she immediately hit all them up. So she obviously digs my look. So if she can come down to Texas and wrestle with me, oh man, if I can go up north and wrestle with her, oh man. Yeah, Vikings can be soft too. I maybe. uh eh, yeah, and I know like my smile is something that's all across my face, and I certainly don't smile a lot in the ring, but there has been times, I try to be very facial with my expressions, and because I don't talk, Iron Belly does not do streams, but he does do little TikTok challenges, Iron Belly challenges. So if you haven't found him on TikTok, you definitely need to find Thane Iron Belly and some of his Iron Belly challenges. If you scroll all the way, I am the original. I started this whole internet challenge with him. It was his idea. All I did was give him the jumping off point. We started it, gave him the start, and he, um, he's already had everybody else do it, so it becomes its own thing now. But yes, it's the Iron Belly challenge. So that's usually what he says. This is the Iron Belly challenge. And I filmed, I don't know how many of those I was filming. So it's, I've helped with a bunch of it. But that's what he does. He doesn't really stream. I know I've had him on the podcast a couple of times, but so all right. With that, I am going to call it a night. I'm having trouble breathing, so I need to put on a nasal strip and drink some more hot tea. So we're going to do all that. I want to thank everybody again for stopping by tonight, this New Year's celebration. I thought it was a big one, but, I definitely am going to, aim higher next time. I want to have some guests soon, as soon as we can connect and do that, getting them on here ASAP. So it's really checking with their schedules and stuff like that. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in on TikTok, all the thumbs up, all the reposts and everything like that. I want to thank everybody on Facebook and Rumble and TikTok. Not said TikTok, but YouTube. YouTube's that last one. Once I can get all this connected, it'll be so much easier. I won't have to work as hard, but that's the goal, to do this better. So again, thank you everybody. Tune in next week. Be sure to hammer that like button, share this with your friends, follow me on all platforms. Get your W energy drinks. If you follow that link, 10% discount. Same thing with the Silver Lining clothing, with the gems and crystals in the fabrics. Not this shirt, but I just did that because it's in the inks. It's in the designs and stuff like that I usually have been wearing. But oneancientearth.com, get a custom Semitic reading, get a custom made jewelry. I got my Moldavite, I got my Granditerite. I did wear my Moldavite bracelet. Wow, that, I don't know if it was because I was super hungry, but man, my stomach was upset for a while I was wearing it. I took it off and the stomach went away, but I do know I can feel this one, and that's in the heart, and that's in the top of my head. So this one I really dig. So thank you, One Ancient Earth. Thank you, Tony. Hope everything gets better on that end. I'm not going to go into that, but tune in next week and we will talk again. Good night, everybody.